Disaster response is one of the critical mandates of the Ministry of Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees. The Line Minister, Engineer Hillary Onek, is now proposing better funding for the ministry to enable it do more in terms of disaster mitigation, which is cheaper compared to disaster response on which the government has been focused. But there is one big hurdle the ministry would have to confront to effectively deliver on mitigation, and that is the lack of scientists in the Department of Disaster Preparedness.
Buying food and then distributing food, that one did not require any engineering at all. It was just basic supply of commodities. So the social scientists are best at it.
Onek argues that the practice of outsourcing scientists whenever disaster strikes is less effective compared to having them in-house as departmental staff.
Outsource, you get somebody who is also busy in their own office. The time allotment to your job will not be as much as somebody who is employed primarily to be there. And that person becomes the link now connecting with those other departments and ministries where fellow professionals are.
Minister Onek, who was speaking during a networking event of engineers, called for the need to reform the education curriculum to include humanities in the training of scientists. That forms part of the retraining the engineers have been undergoing in an initiative that has seen 160 others benefit.
The aim of that project really was to support them to understand how to use their technical skills in a very different setting, in a humanitarian setting where motivations, timelines, priorities, ways of working are very different to a traditional engineering response.
Even when we make designs for infrastructure, we must make sure that we recognize the needs of the people who are going to use them, the people who are going to protect them, and that is the community. So our strategy is to work more with communities, and that's why we are training a critical mass of engineers.
The Dean of Engineering at the Makerere University College of Engineering, Design, Art and Technology, Dorothy Akello, indicated that a paper on communication is embedded in the training program for engineers.
We train on communication skills, okay? But if I'm to be very honest, I'm sure most of us, and even our students, when they think of communication skills, they think of how do they pitch maybe to a company, or even if they are self-employed, to pitch their product. Okay, but what we are now talking about is how do you relate with people who have just suffered a tragedy, for example, landslides. Okay, that is not, it is beyond communication skills. There is a degree of also empathy.
Jackson Onyango, NTV.